explain about little bit dynamic component in Blazor. So basically dynamic component in Blazor are built-in types and useful for the rendering components without iterating through possible types are using conditional logic. So this is a very handy component that allows us to load component dynamically. So sometime when we need to load some data, some kind of a component dynamically on the basis of some logic with the help of user selection or stored logic data inside the database. So this dynamic component helps us a lot. So today I would like to load two dynamic component. One is for the number of customer counter and one is a list of country by the help of dynamic component in the Blazor. So without delaying, let's start building the dynamic component. So here I have a very new project where I have a folder for the dynamic components, and I will add a lister inside our pages. So let's add our first component inside this project. So we'll add a razor component with the name that is, we can say dynamic component list dot razor. So with that, and we are using the code behind, so we'll add one more class so that we can write some logic. So in this section we'll add code behind, and we will correct this with partial class. At the same time, we not need this code logic over here now, and we can correct the h3 value. And after that, as we know, we will add a page directive. So as this is the navigated from URL, what we can do, we can make it a small case. So this will be like a dynamic component, and we have a list. So this is the URL that user can reach. So let's fix our navigator inside our nav menu. So in place of counter, I will navigate to this one, and I will say dynamic component list, and we not need this one. So navigation is also fixed. Now we need to create a dynamic component so that we can use it inside this one. So for that, what I'm planning, I want to create a component named as a country lister. So let's add a new item as a razor component, and this time the name is country lister. So at the same time, we will add a code behind, and this is the normal C# class. So this one will be country lister.cs, and we will add a partial class, and we not need this one. So here what we can do in the country lister, we need to write some data so that we can dynamically bind some data. So I'm creating one property as a country list, and this is our dummy service that will have a few list of country. And if we like to see what are the country names, so I have here few hard-coded country. This one will be initialized when someone call this class, dummy data service. So I have a property called as a get country list. So this one will return the country list. So with that dummy class, what we can do, we can get the country list, and now in the country lister I have to write the logic. So as this is the country list, so let's fix the h3, and then we can write let's say we like to use ulli. So after that, what we can do, we can write a for loop, for each loop that will list the data from this, and we need to have use our shared library so that this will understand. So now country list, and we have a country list over here. It will be initialized. Why this is complaining of our possible nulls, not a problem. Now we have a country list component. Let me add one more counter so that we can show at least we are able to load the dynamically. Now I will add another component termed as customer counter. So very similar to the repeating process, we will add a class for code behind, and we will say this class is for the this one, and then we would add a partial class, and inside this our customer counter, what we do, we'll just use our dummy class and expose that customer count in our this public variable, and on the top we'll just show the number of count in our customer counter. So we not need this, we actually going to list the number of customer, and this one is the razor syntax. So we have two small dynamic component, and I would like to load them in our this pages that we just created dynamic component. So here inside the CS I need to create some data so that we can load. So here in this section, what I like to do, I will create a list that is have a hard coded our customer counter and country lister. So this value in our real project time we can get from the user selection or from the database logic. So these are the value comes dynamically in real working scenario, but for now I'm just passing these two classes, and I would like to write the logic to list the our component over here. So it's very easy. What we do, we'll write for each, and we'll say var item in our d list that we have. So for each list we have our dynamic component, and we pass the type, and the type is our this item that is coming from the code behind, and for the real project this will be loaded from the database or somewhere user selection. So this is okay now, and if we'll try to run this one, let's see. So this will load our two dynamic components in the component lister page. So if I will go over here, then we can see we have our customer counter and country list loaded dynamically with the help of our dynamic component given in the Blazor. So with that demo, I would like to thank everyone. Thank you for watching.